Welcome to Leveling Up the Podcast with Alethia Tucker. I'm so happy that you're listening today. My goal is to bring something new, something promising. I plan to bring conversation, resources, and wisdom around the things that are holding us back from going for our best. We'll talk about everyday life and careers. I'll bring us dialogue designed to dig deep and identify our passions. We'll talk about the limits that you need to let go of and the promise that you need to grab a hold of. I'll interview women who bring valuable insight to the table. We'll have opportunities for Q&A, and we'll talk resources to help along the way. There are levels to this, and we'll hit them all, starting at the ground floor. We all have dreams, and now is our time to level up.
Ground floor.
I recall in the late 80s, actually it was the late 70s, I moved to Germany. My father was in the military and he was stationed over at Ramstein, Germany. I recall vividly how I cried when we got on the plane because I did not want to go. I was used to being here, of course, in the United States, and I didn't know what to expect from the customs and the culture, and I didn't know what it was like to not be around my family. We've always been close-knit, and we've always been fairly close within distance of one another, and this was so far away from the world as we knew it. No telephones, no TV that would play our regularly scheduled programs. It was just a totally different life, and I didn't know what to expect. I recall crying on my way there, crying the first few months I was there. It was something different, and I was afraid. I was a part of a military family, so we traveled a good bit, but this was definitely a distance that I wasn't prepared for. But as time went along, I grew to love being in Germany. I love the culture. I love the friends that we made and the things that I learned about the way that the culture integrated family and the food and just how close-knit I was with friends over there, because like us, those on the base, we didn't have family. So we became family and we watched out for one another and we did things. We grew to appreciate when the TV came on at 8 o'clock at night and showed soap operas from weeks, months past. We grew to, one, appreciate the culture that we left behind, and also the place that we moved to. We grew to love the place that we moved to. Well, 4 years passed and it was time for me to return back to the States. And just as I had cried when I left to go to Germany, I cried because I didn't want to leave. I had taken on a whole new identity, learned so much, had established friends, really grew to love where I was. How many of us have really just turned off or turned a deaf ear to things because we're afraid of what it may mean? We don't know. It's the unfamiliar. And we're scared to take a chance. We're scared to pursue adventure. We're scared to move to some place that we don't know what it's like or what to expect. My example here is to get you to understand that life offers so many possibilities, and we'll never get used to them. We'll never know what's out there unless we endeavor to try something new. Life is so much better when we find the things, the connections, the foods, the family, the contacts, when we learn from different people. There is so much to gain. There's so much to take in from so many people. Our lives are so much better when we open them up to adventure, when we open them up to what's possible. So let this be your affirmation. I will no longer shy away from the things that I don't know about because I'm afraid to find out. I will go where I am supposed to be. I will seek things that will make me better, that will grow me. I won't be afraid to take a leap, to take a chance, knowing that by doing so, I will be improving my life, I'll be improving my perspective, and improving who I am overall.
Main level.
Hello, Dr. Alethia Tucker here, leveling up the podcast on this brand new season. And I have with me the networking ninja, Dr. Tandra Price with me, helping us to kick things off in a fine way. Hey, Tandra.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm so good. I'm so happy to have you here with me. Listen, a lot of what I do on Leveling Up the Podcast is really talking with women about how it is they can get to the next level.
Okay.
And as you can see, we are here at Ms. Corporate America at the national competition. Not Tampa, Tap In is what I'm trying to say.
That's okay. We can spin it like that.
Yeah, we can spin it,
really
Tap In. Okay, all right, we can do what we want to do. But anyway, Tandra knows how it is that we can network to make the connections that we need to help us to get to the next level where we're trying to go. And we're all about bringing you the tools and the techniques. I want you, first of all, to just give me a little of your story. How did you even get involved in networking?
Oh my God. Listen, it's such a long story. It was probably maybe about 20 so years ago. I've been in multi-level marketing for the longest. And I just kind of learned from there, really. I can really take away back then, before when I got out of high school, graduated, went into a financial industry, and then I started having to sell, like real sell, like open up the phone book, Yellow Pages.
Yes.
Back in the day,
Yes.
I don't know if anybody still remember that, but we did have to get all of our leads from the Yellow Pages.
I
remember. So, it really kind of started from there. And after that, I ended up getting into multi-level marketing. But at that time, I knew that there had to be a better way, to get leads and for us to be able to start connecting. But, networking is kind of like a process. You start that way because that's how they teach you. Now, take in mind, when you go to college, that's not really a class that you learn how to network.
No.
But what it did teach us is, they tried to teach us the basic fundamentals of sales. And sales wasn't really the quiet way of how we do things in order to get customers. I think they missed a huge big point. But anyway, I got in it through there. And from there, I just kind of escalated. And every time I found a way that I was trying to be even an entrepreneur, even sell in the industry, in the corporate world, I had to find different ways of how to be able to make that connection with the clients. Yes. And so that's really kind of how I got started.
Wow.
27 years ago.
27 years.
Don't I look young?
He does not look it. That's where you say yes, you're right. Listen, Tandra, what we do, we love. And I know you love what you do. She has photographed, she has put the stories out for so many people. She's put the stories out for the stars in Hollywood, for the stars in sports, for the stars in media, for the everyday stars, the queens as they are here. But it's not always easy. How is it? What are some of the trials and tribulations that you have to deal with, and how do you overcome them? What is it that you do to be able to go day to day and do what it is you need to do?
That famous thing, NO?
Uh-huh.
We used to hear that all the time. No, 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 no. And believe it, it started to be a real challenge for us. And even for me, as I was, trying to grow my business. But as I realized, no wasn't really the answer. No, they just didn't have enough information. So I tried to spin that no into either, not enough information, my next opportunity. And it is hard because I feel like when we don't really educate our client on what it is that they're really looking for, it is hard for us to make that connection. So we have to be able to look at our daily journey and figure out, okay, what is it that I'm trying to say to my client? How do I make that connection? But I think the missing piece of all of that, when we look back at it, is how do you build relationships? It's all about relationship building. A lot of times, we always looking for the transactional part of our business, and that doesn't go very far. You get that maybe one or two sales, but after that, you want to be able to have that repeat going on and on and on. And I think that's where it takes us from, the everyday journey. You know what I'm saying? Not making it so hard, making the strides not so hard, because we actually are building our own billboards as we go along.
Yes. Awesome. Awesome. So what is it that you do? What are some affirmations that you do for yourself? What are some things you do to make sure that you get plugged in the morning?
You know what? I am a firm believer in doing meditation every morning because, I believe without God, none of this would be possible. But I think I want to make sure I have the right person talking in my ear in the morning, that I'm hearing the right message. So, I spent some time really meditating in the morning to kind of get my day going. And from there, I just kind of start opening up the chapter of the book. We have this thing called the internet, which is our most friendly thing that we do. But believe it or not, there is a lot of education there. Besides YouTube University, we do have some other stuff. And besides Google University, there is other people that are out there that can be really mentors to us and be able to help us to be able to navigate. One of the things I always even tell my clients is that I'm in the networking space. So I look for those people who have done heavily in the networking space. And I look at their trend in their industry. You have Gary V. You have a lot of Ted Austin. You have a lot of people who have been in the network marketing industry and the networking space itself that is doing a whole lot of good business.
Yes.
And, we learn from them, because why do we really need to do it over?
We don't.
They've already really made the blueprint for us. They made the blueprint for us. Listen, just go ahead and keep doing this stuff.
Absolutely.
But we can always tweak it and make it our own. So I kind of make sure that I'm a strong sponge to soak up any information. I'm open to learning, and I'm teachable and coachable.
That's it. And you have to be teachable and coachable.
You really do.
You have to be. So just give us a few tips, because we leave tips so that they can level up.
Oh, yeah.
Give us a few tips, just a few things that they definitely need to do in order to take their networking and to get their names out there.
Well, first of all, I would say being in Tap In Magazine is one of the best ways that you can get your name out there. It is about visibility. I am the founder and owner of Tap In Magazine, where we help entrepreneurs amplify their voice and make sure that their message is seen, heard, and noticed. But one of the things that I want to let you know, that even in any type of publication, we have to make sure that we have a roadmap, a process to use that, because it is a conversation piece. Secondly, I will often say that you always have to incorporate networking in your business. It is 24/7. We never stop networking. Every time you open your phone or you open up the internet, you are actually networking. Anytime you send something out, it is a mass communication. So we want to make sure that you are doing that effectively and efficiently when it comes to actually networking, making sure that your message is clear, is concise. Make sure that you're asking the client exactly what it is that you want. Make sure that you're not selling multiple products and getting them confused, and make sure that you have a follow-up process. A lot of times, they always say the money's in the follow-up. It really is, but the money's really in the currency comes through the conversation. But when you don't have that follow-up process, listen, by the time you meet somebody and you don't follow up, you only have 24 to 48 hours to actually be a remembrance to that person. We have to do the very, very, very fundamental skills of networking at any time, and that's listening.
Yes.
Which we don't do that. So, we can go on with a lot of different tips, but one I would definitely say is making sure that you stay visible in front of your client, because if you're not visible in front of your clients is going to be getting their products and services from the next person that sells the same products and services as you.
Yes.
So, we all buy on emotions, right?
Absolutely.
So that's so important to make sure that, you are staying in front. Again, making sure that you have a roadmap plan to following up, and make sure that you're always making sure that your message, again, is clear, concise, and effective. So someone knows exactly what it is that you're asking for or what you're selling, and how that can be of a benefit. And also add value, making sure that you're showing value to your clients, because a lot of times we get products and services and there's no value. And then you wonder why we're not really buying
selling.
Right.
Yeah.
And find the pain point. And this is so easy now. I can give you Google University on this one. Go and find out what the pain point is. Look at your industry and find out what those pain points, and then find out what your target ideal client is, and then go from there.
Perfect. Coming from a guru, someone who has, and I've watched this lady sell, and I've watched this lady put your story out there, and I've watched phenomenal things happen because she has networked and put your story out there. So tell us how it is that we can get in touch with you.
Yes, so you can go to TAPIN, that's TAPIN magazine.org. Go there, take a look at a lot of our publications that we have. Look at some of the people that have been featured on there. We have a lot of different workshops and programs that you can get involved in. And not only that, we have a networking boot camp that comes up every 6 months. So you're more than welcome to dive into that.
Jump into the networking boot camp. I think that many, many years ago may be where I first got introduced to you.
Yeah, conversations over coffee.
Conversations over coffee. Jump into it. She makes it simple, practical steps so she can show you what it's like, when you're just getting started and not quite knowing which way to go, what it is you need to do to make that difference. All right. You got anything coming up you want to tell us about?
Oh my God, you know what? We really don't. We're right here in Orlando at the Miss Corporate America national competition. Look, I'm getting excited because all I hear is the music and the ladies walking the halls with their crowns and their sashes on. And, we're excited. I'm waiting to see who's going to be the next one.
Me too. And I have a vested interest. I got Maryland here, and I'm believing we're going to bring home that crown.
Okay, bring it home.
All right, Tandra, thank you so much for being here. This is my girl.
Thank you.
And thank you for tuning in to this new season of Leveling Up the Podcast, who also brings you Thought for Thursdays on Thursdays. Listen, go out and make a difference. Be authentically yourself because you are the best person to be you, and we need what it is that you have to offer. Go out and touch something and make a difference. Have a good one.
Bye.
Are you ready to step into your power, showcase your leadership, and celebrate your success? The Ms. Corporate America competition is a platform for corporate professionals, government officials, business leaders, community liaisons, military personnel, and CEOs to shine, inspire, and make an impact. This is more than a competition. It's your chance to amplify your story, elevate your career, and join a sisterhood of strong, purpose-driven women. Whether you're in business, government, the military, or leading your community, this is your moment to be celebrated for the work you do. Are you ready to represent Maryland and take your place as a leader who inspires change? Visit maryland.mscorporateamerica.com and sign up to be a contestant. The crown is waiting. Will you rise to claim it?
The Loft.
Welcome to The Loft. Indeed, it was an honor and a pleasure to speak with Dr. Tandra Price today of TAPIN Magazine, the networking ninja. Of course, before she left, as we always do, we asked her for some tools and some tips that she would give us in the networking arena. What is it that she would advise us to do to make us better at what we do in networking and how we network? She recommends getting in front of people, getting in front of groups, Facebook groups that you can find, groups that do conferences, groups such as Toastmasters, groups that are focused in on the area of interest that you have. Getting in front of these people, learning, networking, finding out how you can collaborate. Those are the keys to making and building your business, to establishing your brand, and to growing as a person because, of course, in networking, in communicating with others, you learn from them, they learn from you, and you're able to leverage off of all that you're building. Make sure that you follow her. We've provided the information for her social media handles. We've given you information on her email address and her website, and find out how you can get in TAPIN Magazine. Make sure that you do what's necessary so that you network, so that you can be impactful. All right? And that's it. Okay, we've reached the end of the episode. Thanks so much for taking the time to listen. As you catch the elevator down, if you feel so inclined, rate, review, subscribe, and share with a friend. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Remember, every day is a new opportunity, and it's never too late to level up.